All right, Rich Van Tassel back with you, continuing with the game picks for Week 17. Here we have the Tennessee Titans at 3-12. They're traveling to Indianapolis to play the Colts, who are 7-8. Injuries for the visiting Titans: Marcus Mariota, the quarterback, Kendall Wright, wide receiver, are both out. For the Colts, Dwayne Allen, tight end, is on injury reserve. Matt Hasselbeck, quarterback, out. Dante Moncrief, wide receiver. T.Y. Hilton, wide receiver, are both probable. And Trent Cole, the linebacker, is out. Now, we talked about Indianapolis. They need a win. A lot of help, as well as the Texans' loss. Tennessee's 3-12. Bad year for them. Certainly in contention for the number one overall pick. We'll see what they do. They don't have Marcus Mariota now for the second straight week. Zach Mettenberger has played well. I think Mettenberger is a guy who can at least be a backup, if not a starter in this league. I think he needs to get more opportunities to play, and certainly he needs to relish these opportunities. For the Indianapolis Colts, all reports are Chuck Pagano will not be back. It's not too hard to see that coming because of the way this team has underperformed this year. Obviously, without Andrew Luck for most of the year, that really hurts. However, this team was too good, and that division is too bad for them to be where they are. So what's going to go on in this game? I like the Titans to win this game. I think Indianapolis realizes they have all but no shot of making the playoffs, even with the small shot they have. I think they're just going to be way too deflated, and they're not going to come out, and a disappointing year is going to come to a very, very disappointing ending for this team. I like Tennessee. They really have nothing to play for, and I think Matt Mettenberger will come out and show what he has. I think Tennessee is going to win this game 23-16 as Indianapolis really struggles to find the end zone in this game. All right, next up, the Washington Redskins at 8-7 travel to Dallas to play the 4-11 Cowboys. Washington has already clinched the division. Cowboys have clinched last place, obviously. Um, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this game because the Redskins are locked into where they are. They can't move up. They can't move down. Are they going to rest their starters, or are they going to play and try to finish above 500? Injuries first for the Washington Redskins. Matt Jones, running back. Deshaun Jackson, wide receiver. Pierre Thomas, running back, are all questionable. Chris Thompson, running back, probable. Deshaun Goldson, safety, is out. For the Cowboys, Des Bryant is done for the year. Cole Beasley is probable. Sean Lee, the linebacker, is questionable. So the Cowboys, their year is going to come to a merciless ending here, or more of a merciful ending, I should say. Going to see if Darren McFadden, he needs 3 yards to get over 1,000. That would certainly be an accomplishment for him. Only 3 touchdowns, though. You look at Kirk Cousins, what is it going to do on the road? He has played well on the road these past couple weeks now. The past couple games they've played on the road, that is. Can he keep it going? They're going to have to win road playoff games, so that's why I expect Washington is going to try to play in this game. Cowboys, their offense is just not there. Their defense has not made plays. It's been a terrible year for the Cowboys. They'll just have to look forward to next year here, and I think they're going to get blasted in this game the last week of the season. I like Washington big time, 27-10. Kellen Moore is not going to lead the Dallas Cowboys to the end zone in this game. All right, the other NFC East game, meaningless as well because everything's wrapped up. Philadelphia Eagles 6-9, traveling to New York to play the Giants, who are 6-9. Injuries for the Eagles: Byron Maxwell, the cornerback, is out. Dwayne Harris for the Giants, their wide receiver and kick returner, is questionable. Pat Shurmur is going to be the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles in this game. We've seen that, or I saw a report today that Tom Coughlin may announce his resignation at the end of this game. We'll go over that when this game ends. Obviously, Odell Beckham Jr. is back. Let's see what he does in this last game, how well he's looking to play. Eli Manning actually very quietly has had a good year this year. Over 4,000 yards, 33 touchdowns to 14 interceptions, but those numbers are inflated because they just have not run the ball very well this entire game. DeMarco Murray, I didn't even realize his numbers were up to this point. Does have over 600 yards on just 181 carries, that is, so one more than 180. That's well less than 4 yards per carry, considering how well he played last year, but he does have 5 touchdowns. I didn't even realize he had 500 yards. Very disappointing year for him. Let's see what happens in the offseason. For the game here, I think Odell Beckham Jr. is going to light up the Philadelphia Eagles in this one, and I don't expect the Giants to lose what could be Tom Coughlin's send-off, his swan song, and Philadelphia, I don't know what they're going to do with Pat Shurmur as calling the offensive plays. He's more of a pro-style coach than Chip Kelly is. and that offense is certainly tailored to what Chip Kelly wants. So I'm taking the Giants pretty big in this game. I like it to be 31-14, and Sam Bradford's going to turn over the ball over a lot. It's going to be a mess for the Philadelphia Eagles in this game. All right, Detroit Lions at 6-9 travel to Chicago to play the Bears, who are also 6-9. Injuries for the Lions: Calvin Johnson, wide receiver; Amir Abdullah, running back, are both questionable. For the Chicago Bears, Alshon Jeffrey, wide receiver; Eddie Goldman, defensive line, are on injury reserve. Eddie Royal, wide receiver, doubtful. Zach Miller, tight end; Matt Forte, running back, are both questionable. We've discussed Detroit. Started out 1-7. They've been 5-2 since then. They win this game. That's a 6-2 close. Got to give them credit for being professional. Again, this was a very good team from last year. Uh, had a couple tough losses. The season kind of got away from them early in the year, but they showed that. So a win here today would really show what this team has to offer, and I'd look for them to be a big factor going into next year. Matt Stafford has cut down on his turnovers, only 13. Jay Cutler as well, only 8 interceptions. However, Matthew Stafford has 29 touchdowns to Jay Cutler's 19 touchdowns. Calvin Johnson, not his best year, but over 1,000 yards already. He's going to go over 80 catches. He gets 2 touchdowns. He has 10 receiving touchdowns, so that's certainly something that he can take with him in the next year. Obviously, he's getting up there in age. As far as this game, going to be interesting in Chicago. Chicago has had about what I'd expect of them. A little better than that. I had them at 5-11 coming into the year. They're 6-9. They lose. They dropped to 6-10, so it's pretty close. And I expect they are going to lose. Again, they were really hurt when they missed, though, when Robbie Gould lost them 2 weeks in a row when they got to 5-6. That really ended their season. And I'm picking Detroit in this game. I like the Lions to win 24-20. Should be a close game and an entertaining game with absolutely nothing on the line. Okay, next up, we have Tampa Bay. They are traveling to Carolina to play the Panthers. Tampa Bay is 6-9. Carolina is 14-1 off their first loss of the year. Carolina needs to win to ensure home field advantage. If they lose and Arizona wins, then Arizona will have home field advantage throughout the NFC playoffs. Injuries for the Buccaneers: Major Wright, safety; Vincent Jackson, wide receiver; Chris Conte, safety, are all on injury reserve. William Goldson, defensive end; Sterling Moore, defensive back, cornerback, are both probable. For the Panthers, Jonathan Stewart, running back, and Fozzie Whitaker, running back, are out. Ted Ginn Jr., wide receiver, doubtful. Thomas Davis, linebacker, probable. Kirk Coleman, safety, is doubtful. Carolina is missing both their running backs. They are going to rely heavily on Cam Newton in this game. I'm sure they wish they didn't have to play this game all out with the injuries they have, but they got to do it and they got to find a way. Tampa Bay is going to make this game very interesting. Again, this was a team that was the worst in the league last year, had the number 1 overall pick, can get to 7-9, ensure themselves not having 10 losses. That'll be a step in the right direction for this team. They were in the playoff race for a little bit, then started to fade. A young team in the playoff race. They didn't know what to do, so certainly they just have to learn from experience going into next year. A win today, even though Carolina is hurt, and may not be, or a win tomorrow, that is, even though Carolina is hurt and may not be playing all out, would certainly still show them that they have what it takes to compete and really springboard them into next year. With that being said, I expect Carolina to win the game. They need it too much, but Tampa Bay will play well. They'll just start to fade a little late as their season has. 34-23 in favor of the Carolina Panthers. Give Tampa Bay and Coach Lovie Smith a lot of credit for what they've been able to accomplish this year, however. All right. So, next up, we have Oakland Raiders at 7-8 against the Kansas City Chiefs 10-5. Injuries for the Raiders: Amari Cooper, wide receiver, probable. Justin Houston, this is for Kansas City now. Justin Houston and Tamba Ali, both linebackers, are listed as questionable. Oakland will be able to get themselves to 8-8 with a win. I had them 9-7 in the playoffs, so just obviously a little bit of a year short here. They and it's certainly improved with Derek Carr, 31 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. Latavius Murray has answered the bell this year, over 4 yards per carry, just a little bit. I mean, his numbers have certainly dipped in the yards per carry department from last year, but he didn't have that many carries last year. He's over 1,000 yards, has 6 touchdowns. Give him credit. Amari Cooper certainly should still be in contention for Offensive Rookie of the Year. For the Chiefs, they can win the division with a win and a Denver Broncos loss. They've won 9 straight. Are they going to keep it rolling going into the playoffs? We'll have to see. A loss may not be the worst thing for them. You don't want to be carrying that long of a winning streak going into the playoffs. You'd like to get that loss out of the way. Alex Smith, 18 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, been very efficient this year. Give him a lot of credit. With that being said, I think Oakland's going to finish out the season right, go in there and get the win. They are 4-3 on the road, so it's really just been at home that's really hurt them, where they're only 3-5. They played, 2 games better at home. They'd probably be in the playoffs in this situation, or at least with a chance to make the playoffs here in the last week of the season. So they're going to make up for it and get the win tomorrow in Kansas City. Give it to Oakland, 27-24. All right, so that we are going to take a break now. That's it for the game 2 picks, or part 2 of the game picks. And we will be back in a few minutes to finish out the rest of the games for the last week of the season in the NFL. Thank you.